Here in my old workshop is one of the most high-tech lawnmowers ever built. This is the Ego Z6. It's got 5 electric motors and it's powered by 6 massive batteries. And Ego says it puts out more power than a 22 horsepower engine. But when it comes to lawnmowers, all these features don't really matter if it can't actually cut your lawn well. So in this video, we're going to check this thing out, put it through a series of tests, and see what it can actually do. They give you everything you need in the crate, including the 6 batteries. Now this only comes in one version, and that's with a 52-inch steel deck. Now the deck is pretty heavy duty, it's made of 10 gauge steel. Now it also includes 3 individual motors powering each of the 3 blades. Now this is a big plus because that means there's no belts, no grease fittings, and they are direct drive right from the motors. You can adjust the cutting height right from the seat, and it goes anywhere from 1.5 inches all the way to 4.5 inches high. They also include a side guard, and this plastic is really thick, and that should protect the deck in case you hit anything. The seat on this thing was also exceptional. They include the armrest, and you can adjust the range in this, so anybody should be able to fit in this seat, even if you're really tall. And this is also a suspension seat, so you can make adjustments on this thing from soft to firm and set it exactly where you want. This machine's also got LED headlights, but has additional lights around the machine that also blink when you're going in reverse. And the wheels on the back of the machine are 18-inch Kendas, but behind each rim is another electric motor. This thing has no transmission, both wheels are direct drive. And you should note that those front wheels are pneumatic, meaning that you do need to put air in them, and they could potentially go flat. Of course, you've got built-in cup holders, but here's something you're not going to see in your average zero turn. Inside this compartment is a place you can store your phone and also charge it with the built-in USB port. Fortunately, they've included a heavy-duty hitch on the back of the machine, and later in this video, you're going to see where that thing is a real lifesaver. But underneath, there's no more engine. You've only got a series of 6 batteries, and these things are big. They're 56 volt, and they're 12 amp hour batteries each. Now we're ready to use the machine. Close the lid to the batteries, but this is where things get different. There's no engine to start. You just simply insert your electronic key, hold down the start button on the mower, and it's gonna beep. Off. As soon as you pull it in, you're on. Now the blade's obviously not running, it is silent. Now with all electric tools, the biggest question is how much grass can you actually cut? Well, Ego says this thing's capable of cutting up to 4 acres of grass. Now here at my new place, I've got about 1 acre, so we're gonna put that claim to the test. Now you can see my lawn is still looking rough. I'm in the middle of taking care of these weeds, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it a cut. And as you can see, the grass was about 6 inches tall. Now because they only sent me this model with side discharge, I started off by making a couple of passes where I was shooting the grass out, and then I'll begin to go back and forth. Now they do say that they offer a bagging option as well as a mulching kit, but I didn't have those things to test. When I first started cutting the lawn with this thing, I have to say it was really weird. It was just too quiet for me and I kind of couldn't get used to it. I kept looking down to make sure those blades were actually spinning. But once I was using it for a few minutes, it was really actually a lot of fun. I like the reduced amount of noise. You're not breathing any gas or fumes. Now if you've watched my channel, you know that my other machine I use here is a Kubota 21 horsepower diesel. And compared to this one using batteries, it's a totally different experience. But the reality was I was cutting the grass and I was just buzzing right along. Now you can see you've got this huge built-in display, and what I learned after a few minutes was that I could make some adjustments. On the right, you've got a plus and minus, and you can increase or decrease the amount that the blades are spinning. But you can also change your travel speed. I did increase the speed of the blades to the maximum amount they could do. The other big deal with battery equipment is people get nervous about the runtime. Now with this model, they claim it can do 4 acres of grass, so to put that to the test, I have a little over 1 acre of finished grass, so I started cutting at 3.5 inches and worked my way down to 2 inches so that I could mow it multiple times and see what impact it would have on the batteries. And keep in mind, different things will affect your runtime if your grass is wet or if it's super long, but if your grass is shorter, you might be able to do more than 4 acres. But the point of this was I wanted to make sure that Ego was telling the truth, that at no point during the test was the machine ever bogged down to the point where it stopped or kind of stalled out. I was really pleased with the way this thing looked, and the cut looks super sharp. So we did have one small problem during the test. This is any zero turn. The distance from there, that gives you a better feel. Keep in mind that all zero-turn lawnmowers are not supposed to be used on any slopes greater than 15 degrees. Now that's not very steep, and here on the side of a mountain, there's just no way to avoid it, so a zero-turn mower like this would not be a good choice. Now if you've got a really flat yard or just gentle slopes, something like this would be just fine. So for my last test I'm going to try is I have been expanding the mowing area back a little bit. And I have to admit, as I was going through, I went pretty slow, and I could hear those motors revving up to kind of increase power to meet the job. Now, I've missed some stuff, and this stuff folds down when you're mowing stuff this long, but overall, it actually did a pretty good job. Now, you're never going to want to use a machine like this as a field mower, but on any type of regular lawn, I don't think power would ever be a concern. So before I started all this work, I charged the batteries to 100%, I mowed my lawn about 4 times, I crashed it in the gully, and I was buzzing all around in this thing, and I still had 36% left on the batteries. So I'd say their claim of being able to mow 4 acres is pretty generous. Now they can actually recharge these batteries from 0 to 100% in just 4 hours. And that's done using this built-in jack, and it looks just like the side charging port on a Tesla. And you might not have noticed, but this is one of the best features. You don't ever have to remove the batteries. So for those people that are just going to use this as a lawnmower, this is going to be a lot more convenient. And they really did a good job thinking this thing through, because when you're done and you remove that charging cord, there's a built-in hanger right on the charger, and not only looks cool, it's going to keep things clean and make sure that no dirt gets into that connector. I've used this mower now for almost 2 weeks, and even beyond this test, I can tell you this is definitely a cool machine. It's fun to use, it cuts the lawn really well, and the only things that I didn't like about it was that they didn't include the bagger or the mulching kit, so I'm not able to use this thing the way I would actually use it long term. And the only other bad news is the price. They're selling this mower for $6,999. Now you've got to remember the batteries that they include would probably be worth about $2,000 alone. So even though the mower is still a lot of money, that does make it a little bit of a better value, especially if you plan to use other tools in the Ego lineup. And the key benefits here are you're never going to need to buy gas, no oil, no tune-ups. But look around, many people are driving Teslas, and people are paying for electric vehicles and machines that can do things in a way that gas engines just can't. And even if you're not going to buy one of these machines, it's definitely cool, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already for more videos coming up.